Alright, it's that time again. It's the time of jingling bells, and it's also the time to talk about my favorite anime of the year. And when I say anime, I mean there's this one anime in particular that's been sitting in my mind all year. It's not just an anime of the year for me, it is the anime of the year. The anime I'm talking about is Hibike Euphonium Season 3. Now let me start by saying this. It's beautiful. This season, this anime, is the most beautiful thing I've seen this year. Honestly, it might be the most beautiful thing I've seen in years. And I'm not saying that lightly, it's become one of my favorite animes of all time. But here's the funny thing, when I first watched Hibike Euphonium, I didn't like it. But before that, here's a word from our sponsor. Have you ever felt your anime is a bit blurry? Well, do not worry anymore because today's video sponsor 4dig has a solution for you. 4dig is a software that you can use to upscale your anime to much higher resolution than normal. 4dig comes with a lot of options like anime model, face model, where you can change between humans and anime. Also, you can choose different resolutions, which will help you decide. And also the AI enhanced feature, which you can select quality or speed depending on how fast your computer is. Also, there are other options like the photo enhancer, which you can upscale photos with, and also the video colorizer, and also the image colorizer, which you can use to colorize your old images. 4dig also comes with various other cool features which you can check out in the link in the description below. And with that being said, back to the video. Well, okay, maybe didn't like is a bit too harsh. I did like it. I didn't hate it, but I definitely didn't understand it. I misunderstood this anime in a way that, looking back, almost feels embarrassing. At the time, I thought it was alright, decent maybe. Nothing special, and if you've been watching my channel for a while, you might remember a video I made a while back. It was called the KyoAni tier list, and it's basically me ranking all of Kyoto Animation's projects. And in that video, I said, and I still stand by it, that I love all KyoAni projects. Every single one of them. They're all amazing in their own ways, but even back then, there was this one anime that left me conflicted. And that anime is, of course, Hibike Euphonium. Even then, I wasn't sure where to rank it. Not because it was bad, far from it, but because it felt like I hadn't given it a fair shot. I didn't feel like it truly watched it. And that's because when I first watched it, I was distracted. I wasn't in the right headspace, I think. I was rushing through a bunch of animes at the time, and I had other things going in my life, and Hibike Euphonium just got caught up in all that. So naturally, I didn't appreciate it. I didn't get it. And even back then, I told myself, someday I need to go back and watch this properly. Well, guess what? That day finally came. This year, with the release of Hibike Euphonium Season 3, I finally had the perfect reason to revisit the series. And oh my god, what was I even thinking the first time around? I was so wrong about this anime, like ridiculously wrong. This time I went back, sat down and rewatched it right from the beginning. Season 1, Season 2, the movies, everything, and it hit me like a truck. Hibike Euphonium isn't just good, it's phenomenal. This series is one of the most character-driven, emotionally rich anime I've ever experienced. The story itself is simple. Sure, it's about a high school concert band aiming for gold at the national competition. But the characters are something else entirely. Let me say this, if you haven't watched Hibike Euphonium, or if you haven't watched it but didn't really pay attention like I did, do yourself a favor and give it a proper watch. When I rewatched Season 1, it felt like a completely different anime. Kumiko, Reina, Shuichi, Taki-sensei, every single character suddenly made sense to me in a way that it didn't before. Their struggles, their dreams, their motivations, it all clicked. And I'm not sure if it was just because I didn't pay attention or just rewatching it just made it more sense to me. Now let's talk about the characters because honestly, they're the heart and soul of Hibike Euphonium. Kumiko is our protagonist, and what makes her so special is how relatable she is. She is not your typical genius musician or a character who's hyper-focused on a dream from the start. When we first meet her, she's just a normal girl who plays euphonium because, well, that's what she's always done. There's no big passion or purpose behind it. But as the series progresses, Kumiko undergoes one of the most satisfying character arcs I've ever seen. She goes from being someone who's just going through the motions to someone who truly cares. By season 3, Kumiko isn't just playing the euphonium, she's leading the band as a key member. And that transformation feels so real and earned. What I love most about Kumiko is how human she feels. She's awkward, she's flawed, and sometimes she doesn't know what she wants. But through her journey, we always see her grow into someone who understands herself and her goals. And then there is Reina. Reina is, how do I describe her? She's intense, passionate, and unapologetically herself. From the moment she's introduced, you can tell she's on a completely different wavelength from everyone else. Reina's dream of becoming the best trumpet player in Japan is what drives her, but it's her relationship with Kumiko that really stands out. The bond between Kumiko and Reina is one of the most beautifully written friendships I've ever seen in anime. I would even say it's a bit too friendshipy, to the point that it's actually just Yuri bait, I'm not even kidding. And it's just not about the support between these two people, it's about challenging each other to be better. Reina also has this amazing depth to her. On the surface, she's confident and untouchable, but as the series goes on, you see her vulnerabilities. She's someone who hides her insecurities behind her ambition, and that makes her so compelling. Now let's talk about Asuka, the enigmatic and almost larger-than-life vice president of the band. Asuka is one of those characters who seem almost perfect. She's talented, charismatic, and always have everything under control. But as we get to know her, we realize that there's so much more. Asuka is carrying a lot of emotional baggage, and her story in season 2 is one of the most heartbreaking arcs in the entire series. Without spoiling too much, let's just say Asuka's struggles with her family and her identity hits hard. What I love about Asuka is how layered she is. She's not just a mentor figure, she's a person with her own dreams and struggles, and by the time her arc wraps up, you can't help but root for her. The supporting cast is just as incredible. There's Shuichi, Kumiko's childhood friend, who adds a grounded, relatable element to the story. Then there's Natsuki and Yuko, who both have their own little moments of growth that make them feel real. And of course, there's the teacher, Noboru Taki, who is the glue that holds the band together. Taki-sensei is one of those rare anime teachers who feels like a real person. He's not overly dramatic or preachy, he's just someone who genuinely cares about his students and wants to see them succeed. And the music. Don't even get me started on the music. The first time around, I thought, yeah, the music's nice, but this time, the music spoke to me. I know this sounds cheesy as fuck, but it's true. Every note, every performance, it felt alive. First off, the music isn't just there in the background. It's a living, breathing part of the story. Every piece they play, every rehearsal, every performance, it all ties directly into the character's growth and the emotions of the narrative. When the band performs, it's not just about hitting the right notes or sounding perfect, it's about the emotions they pour into the instruments. You can feel the tension, the passion, and even the struggles the characters feel through their music. And the way Kyoto Animation brings these performances to life is nothing short of breathtaking. The sound design is incredible. You hear every little detail. The breaths they take before playing, the slight imperfections during practice, and the way the ensemble gradually improves as they work together, it's so immersive that you almost feel like you're sitting there as an audience and watching the band perform live. And then there's the soundtrack itself, composed by Akito Matsuda. The music is so beautifully crafted that it feels like character in its own right. From the emotional piano pieces to the powerful orchestral arrangements, every track perfectly captures the mood of the series. One of my favorite things about Hibike Euphonium is how it uses these music to convey characters' emotions. For example, Kumiko's relationship with Euphonium evolves throughout the series, and you can hear that evolution in how she plays. In the beginning, her playing feels a bit detached, like she's going through the motions, but by the time you reach season 3, there's so much heart and soul in her performance that it gives you chills. And let's not forget the competitions. These moments are some of the most intense and emotional scenes in the series. The way the anime builds up to these performances is masterful. You see the band practicing for weeks, dealing with the setbacks, clashing with each other, and pushing themselves to their limits. So when they finally take on stage, it's not just about whether they win or lose, it's about how far they've come as individuals and as team. Standout performances like the rendition of the Crescent Moon Dance or the heartfelt solos of Reina's trumpet are not just musically impressive, they're storytelling. Every note carries the weight of characters' struggles, dreams, and relationships. Even if you're not a huge fan of classical music or brass band music, Hibike Euphonium has a way of making you appreciate it. The anime doesn't just show you the technical side of music, it shows you the human side of it. How music can bring people together, how it can express emotions that words can't, and how it can push you to be the best version of yourself. It's not just about the destination either. The anime captures the sheer joy of playing music, the camaraderie during these practice sessions, the satisfaction of nailing a difficult passage, and even the bittersweet moments when someone decides to move on. It's all there, woven into the narrative in a way that feels completely organic. In short, the music in Hibike Euphonium isn't just an aspect of the show, it's the heart of it. It's what drives these characters, connects them to each other, and ultimately makes the series so unforgettable. And season 3, without a doubt, is the best season of Hibike Euphonium. It's the finale, the culmination of everything these characters have worked for, and let me tell you, it's worth it. Watching these characters grow up and finally reach their goal after everything they've been through is one of the most satisfying experiences I've ever had with an anime. And here's the thing, I don't cry when I watch anime, like, ever. Okay, maybe I get a bit teary-eyed now and then, but that still almost never happens. But with Hibike, I cried. Not because I was sad though. It wasn't a sad cry. It was tears of pure, unfiltered happiness. There's something about seeing people succeed, especially when they work so hard for it, that just hits me, and Hibike Euphonium captured that feeling perfectly. I don't know how Kyoto Animation does it, but they managed to take something as simple as a high school concert band and turn it into a masterpiece. And it's not just the main seasons. The movies, especially Liz and the Bluebird, add so much depth to the story, and if you haven't watched them, please do. Honestly, Hibike Euphonium isn't just an anime of the year for me, it's one of my favorite animes of all time right now, and I can't recommend it enough. And yes, my rating is finally changing from an 8 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10. It's on the top of the list. It's on the GOAT debate for me. Thanks for watching. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel if you like my content, and comment down below what was your most emotionally hitting anime. Something that felt impactful, so I can check that out. And that being said, I'll see you later.